Sunday, November 26, 2000. A small fire in a shack gets out of control. Outside, a gale force southeasterly wind is raging. First one shack burns, then the next, and the next, and the next. In the densely packed settlement that is Joe Slovo, an informal housing complex on the suburban outskirts of Cape Town, it takes just 2 hours for 980 shacks to burn to the ground.
Yonke lendlu awundinayo nento ndiphelele kwezi ndizinxibileyo nabantwana bam baphelele kwezi ndizinxibileyo. Andiboni nomyeni wam apho apha khoyo, andiboni tu apha komyeni wam.
25 fire engines and scores of disaster workers wait helplessly on the edge of the fire, unable to get in.
Looking at the fire department guys trying to kill the fire, but they didn't have access close to the fire. It was our main problem that time. The water points are too far from for the fire guys to fight the fire. Since we didn't have the tracks, then the wind was blowing. Everybody was like screaming, children crying all over.
The flames leapt skyward, damaging the overhead high voltage power lines. While the people of Joe Slovo fought to save their possessions, the rest of Cape Town had a power cut. The city's industrial area shut down.
During this particular fire, there were what they call electricity flashdowns. In other words, high voltage power jumping from the lines down to the ground. And any of those could easily kill a person.
Desperate not to lose their land, residents swarmed back after the fire. But the sites under the power lines were dangerous. After intensive negotiation, people moved to temporary shelter, then to permanent sites well away from the high voltage grid.
Everyone wanted to go back where he was before. Some of the people were like building their shacks right through the night. Then we had to get the city police. I was given instruction to negotiate with the people on the ground, not to build underneath the power lines. There's a problem that's taking place that affects the whole city on the other side.
In the first 6 months of the year 2000, there were 32 different fires in Joe Slovo. But this one was so extensive that the government declared the settlement a national disaster area. As in every fire before in Joe Slovo, the poorest of the poor were the victims, mostly women and children with few resources on which to fall back. Something had to be done.
There is this link also between disasters and development, and disasters also provide you with an opportunity. And this was an ideal opportunity for us to fast-track the de-densification of the area and to move in there. And I think we always looked upon Joe Slovo as a pilot project, and we believe that if it worked in this area, it could be duplicated in other informal settlements.
Like all informal settlements globally, the houses were so close together that any fire spread like wildfire, and there was no access for fire engines. Land close to the city is at a premium, but most of this land is just above the water table.
These shacks are settled very, very closely to one another, with the result is that you can't supply them with the necessary infrastructure for services, and I'm talking rudimentary services. You also can't get in with emergency vehicles.
Before, it was not right in Joe Slovo. Even if you tell someone that, you say, "Where do you live?" I say, "I live in Joe Slovo." They say, "Okay." And then just go. Because people think that we're not, I don't know, how can I put it, live like animals.
Between ourselves, that is disaster management branch, as well as the fire service, we were quite worried. We came up with what we call a fire mitigation plan, an educational plan, where we would make contact with the residents and inform them of the dangers of fires and its effects. And the second one would be an actual fact structural plan.
The fire created a window of opportunity. With the land clear under the power lines, plans for an integrated upgrading of services were implemented. A phoenix rose from the ashes.
Just after the fire, we saw a great need to have fire breaks to divide Joe Slovo into little pockets so that in the future, should any fire break out, it would at least be contained in one specific area. So each pocket consists of about 100 shacks.
iziploto ezincinci, so abantu bechithana kathi umuntu ebenendlu enkulu aphinde abeneploto eyi-1 yabe ilolo dushe, kodwa ke yade yalungiseka loo nto leyo, kwadityana kwaxoxwa sade sabe wonke umuntu uyafumana indawo yohlala.
The new Joe Slovo is laid out on a grid pattern with rudimentary sanitation in place. Bucket toilets have been installed. The township is being electrified to reduce dependence on open fires and paraffin stoves. The street lights have made it safer to move around at night. There is road access. Refuse can be removed. Standpipes have been installed, and women and children no longer spend hours every day collecting water. But the process wasn't easy.
We brought in the toilets and we put them around the perimeters of each section, and we discovered that they were not acceptable to the residents. And sadly to say that they demolished quite a lot of them.
Abantu imbango babazophule izitoilet zithi zakhiwe. Siyakhiwa zona right, kodwa abantu baphinde bafike baziqhekeze. Xa bebuzwa ke kusezimithingini bathi zisike zibekwe apha phakathi kwamatyotyombe. Like njoba kube kukho uluphuhliso nje zibekhe zafakwa apha ezitratweni, so abantu babe nesikhalo bathi ziyabanukusela bazichithe.
It shows us the fact that we must liaise with the people first. We can't take it for granted that what we decide to do is good for them. They've got to say that they are staying here, we are not staying here.
The toilets were then built on the perimeter, and the people have taken ownership of them. Joe Slovo is no longer the fire risk it once was. The Santam Cape Agus Ukuvuka Operation Firestop, a private sector partnership with the City of Cape Town and other agencies, launched a groundbreaking and life-saving information campaign.
We came up also with an idea that we should place a bucket in every household. My thinking was that, a fire starts basically very small, and if it's in the kitchen or anything and you had a bucket readily available or a bucket filled with sand, you could basically extinguish that blaze. We would place posters, in actual fact, in the homes of all the shack dwellers. On the poster would be a number of reactive hints, and then I had a third thing, which was a whistle, basically. And the idea was that that was your cheapest form of early warning device.
It's working, yes, because you can see the posters there told us that you must not run away, just be cool and think what to do if you see fire.
I think for me the biggest hurdle was getting our very own council officials to think that if we were to succeed, it had to be via a multidisciplinary approach. There is some coordination. Only then will your output be effective. So that to me was what I would regard as a paradigm shift in the thinking here within council. Then that was a major breakthrough for me.
Nothing can be achieved without community involvement. The people of Joe Slovo meet once a month with city officials where grievances are aired and problems thrashed out.
Those meetings has actually become to them an important event because they get proper feedback. They can feel their problems are not just listened to and not dealt with. The link and the bond between us is fairly strong.
The more we get involved, the more we talk to each other, the more we're solving the problem.
It is better now because we know where to cry to, because we have to sit the meetings, then we complain about what we want to have in Joe Slovo. They take us like people, living people, I say.
One of the measures of success here is the fact that we had a very adequate public-private sector partnership in place. And by that I mean through Ukuvuka. Our success in this particular pilot project was really due to their cooperation. Without Ukuvuka's involvement, we would have not had this measure of success.
This idea of starting small and testing something out, and then when it's successful, expanding it, and then when it really proves its worth, putting it into the formal structures of the city. That's actually what Ukuvuka is about, and how we hope increasingly that government will look at using this kind of partnership to test out ways of improving its delivery of services.
Normally the people in the higher income categories have the luxury of insurance where they can protect their assets. It is not so with people in the lower income groups. And as part of our social responsibility and being a caring corporate citizen, Santam actually wanted to get involved in also making a contribution to the things that affect people at the social level.
The corridors under the power lines remain unoccupied, and there are plans to green the area with gardens and playing fields. Women are learning permaculture to grow vegetables to feed their families, and as funds become available, they will develop small-scale business opportunities.
Eskom Development Foundation gets involved in the greening of Joe Slovo project because it is falling within our mandate. I should say that this project is one of our flagship projects, is one of our strategic projects. We don't believe only in writing checks, but we believe in staying with the project until the project is viable and sustainable.
Exactly a year after the fires of November 2000, another fire swept through Joe Slovo. The Community Bucket Brigade leapt into action, and the fire engines were able to get deep inside. This time, only 30 shacks burned down.
At least, if people are going to stay in these informal settlements, one should try and provide it within a safe environment.
Yes, I would like to see it happening everywhere within the city of Cape Town and to the other informal settlements. I don't wake up at night 6 times a month, Joe Slovo is on fire, Joe Slovo is on fire. But I'm more worried about the other areas. Joe Slovo is cooling down, is excellent.
Life is better now. Life is better. Very much better.